Hi, my name is Kay Thomas, and I'm the Training Director for Kidmin Care. We're excited that you want to be a part of the team and beginning this journey of some training videos. This is the first part, and this is the introduction in our training. I'm going to be checking out my notes, going back and forth, but I just welcome you to this training video. At Kidmin Care, all of our specialists are unique individuals. We're so proud of you. There's lots of things within the interview process with your statement of faith and your statement of belief. And now, as you're entering this training process, we want to make sure that every one of our specialists has the same presentation. You're all unique. You are different. God is going to use your unique gifts and skills. But there are certain things that we want to be a part of every one of our specialists. It's our heartbeat. Kathy and I have been in ministry a long time, and so these are some best practices as you enter into all kinds of settings. And so, of course, the first thing is when you go in to a church, you represent Kidmin Care, you represent Jesus Christ, and so we want you to conduct yourselves accordingly. When you're with Kidmin Care, you're at various churches who have varying degrees of what they believe, what their standards are of dress, and all those kinds of things. And so as you walk in, we want you to, in dress and in speech, everything you do conveys professionalism, modesty, courtesy. And so we want you to arrive on time. And that's just very important to us. And arriving on time is arriving a few minutes early, like 5 minutes early, even more. You never know what situation you're walking into. The parking. Some of these churches that we're going to be in are huge churches with a long parking process. And so you need to give yourself plenty of time. Everybody's got a GPS. You've got ways to get there. I also understand running late. I understand taking a little bit of extra time. So if that's you, give yourself extra time because early is on time, and that's really important to us. When you arrive at the church and meet whoever the contact is, I want you to introduce yourself. You'll be wearing your Kidmin shirt. You'll be carrying your notebook. Very important to do that, but please introduce yourself to that person. And remember that a firm handshake is a great handshake. Don't be doing any fishy handshakes with shop. No. Nice handshake. Smile. Introduce yourself. Present yourself well. And that's just great protocol for anything that you do. The next thing, and as we're going through this, you have these notes in your training manual, but I want to just talk about some of the things. And as you can tell, my presentation is just sort of as I talk, as I go, and that's how I roll. But you have these things to refer back to. I just want to talk with you about them and give you an idea. And so if when you enter the church, you encounter anything that seems unusual, weird in the assignment, we want you to call us. Call Kathy. You'll have an emergency number to contact if you have any concerns as you walk into a situation. Communicate, right? Communication is key. Kathy has talked to all these churches. We shouldn't have anything weird, but you know what? We just never know. When you walk in, something strange might happen, and we want you to know that at Kidmin Care, we have your back. And we're concerned about you. We want you to have a great experience. We want the church to have a great experience with all of our specialists. And so communicate, talk to us. And if it doesn't seem like an emergency, but something you just kind of felt a little weird about, you don't have to do it right away, but please communicate with us sometime. But if you walk in and there's a situation that you just feel uncomfortable with or something seems really strange, communicate. One thing we want you to do is always wear your Kidmin Care t-shirt, right? That's an easy way for you to be identified. Some of the churches that we'll be going into have a lot of people in, and they might not easily recognize who you are. And so always have your t-shirt washed and ready. Always carry your notebook. Have that with you. It has valuable information for you as well as your timesheet. And so it's really important to have that with you all the time. It also helps easily identify that you are with Kidmin Care. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you're dressed appropriately and professionally. And so that means we don't wear anything tight or revealing. It's real easy then when you're wearing your t-shirt, just solves a lot of that. But just remember you're ministering in churches. And some churches have uh, people are going to be in dresses, they're going to be dressed up. Some churches are more casual, but we always want to be professional, and we don't want to dress in a way that draws undue attention to ourselves. So make sure that you're doing that. um, Khakis, jeans, they're fine to wear. uh, but please, no yoga pants, no pajama pants. We aren't that casual. Even if you see somebody else at Kidman Care, we want to present ourselves a little more professionally than that. So just make sure you aren't wearing anything like that. Avoid wearing strong perfumes or soaps. And that might seem weird at first, but a lot of children are allergic. And so we just don't want to have anything. And if you're trying to spray a lot of perfume to cover up because you did not wash your shirt, ew, no. Wash your shirt and then don't have a lot of heavy perfume, especially when you're holding babies or little ones. Some of them react strongly, and we just want to be very professional in that. Also, here's a little note. We are all non-smoking, and we present ourselves that way, but you might come in contact with someone who has been smoking. Just make sure that smell does not linger on your clothing. If you've been in close contact, air out, wash your shirt, those kinds of things, because we really want to present ourselves well. The next thing I want to talk about is following all safety procedures when working with children. The churches may have some specific safety procedures, and we will comply with all of their safety rules and regulations. But we also have some things that we want you to adhere to. And as we go further in the training with each individual area, we're going to talk about that and what are some safe procedures. But in general, we want you to avoid putting yourself in a situation where you are alone with only one child. Okay. Leave doors to the bathroom open when you're assisting a little one. We don't assist elementary. We'll get into more of that. Most churches, and Kathy will vet these churches, don't ever have one adult alone with children. And we just want to make sure you don't find yourself in that situation. If so, talk to your contact immediately. And it may be just for the moment they're assigning one person to each room, and then they'll have a second person come through. Just make sure you're never alone with a child behind closed doors where someone can't see. Those kinds of issues. We want to be above board. That's for your protection as well as protection for the children. We just want to be really sure that we follow safe standards and procedures. Another thing is cell phones. Cell phones need to be put away at all times when you're at a church. Okay, once you hit the door, you are engaged. And that's something that we really want to emphasize. Once you say hello, you introduce yourself, you enter a room, you are engaging children. You are not sitting, waiting for the kids, kind of hanging back on your cell phone. We want you to engage. And if the children are not there yet, you're there early, see if you can help to set anything up. See if you can familiarize yourself with the area, with the procedures, with any lesson materials that they have. You are engaged once you walk through the door. So your cell phone is not needed. You need to put it away and have it on silent. So that's just really, really important. And I think that makes sense. You are preparing for the arrival of those kids from the moment you step on that church property. We want them to see that. When children come in, greet them and their parents. It's really important for parents to feel comfortable and for you to engage immediately. There may be some people from the church that you are also working with. You're in the same room, but so follow their lead if they're at the door greeting, but make sure you're introducing yourself. You're down on the floor with the kids as they enter. You're engaging in the activities or early arriver games or whatever it is, and share your name. Let them know who you are, and that's important. Make sure you're smiling. It can get easy to just have a resting face, you know. and it just doesn't look as great as an engaging smile. So make sure you practice smiling if that's not your natural go-to resting face, but we want to put that on. Smile goes a long way, so make sure you do that. As you leave, make sure the church contact signs your timesheet. And you already have that filled out with the church name and with your name and the time that you worked, right? But make sure that they sign that. And then what you need to do is take a picture of that filled out timesheet and email that to Kathy. Timesheets are due, and this is written down for you as well, but timesheets are due on the 8th and the 23rd of each month by 11:59 p.m. Okay, and that is so that there's enough time for us to put all the information in and get your checks written and out to you. So this is for your benefit. So make sure timesheets are due the 8th and the 23rd of each month by midnight, essentially, and email them to Kathy. And information is in your training packet. There's one last thing on just our general things in training that I want to talk to you about. If anything unusual happens with a child while in your care, maybe that child just trips and falls, or you notice something unusual when changing a diaper, we really want you to fill out a Kidman Care incident report form, and it's in your notebook. Take a picture of that, email it to Kathy, and then also please let the church contact know what took place as well. And you might be thinking, well, what exactly are we talking about? Well, here, it's very common for a child to trip and fall. Maybe they bite their lip. Anything can happen like that. And you're going to follow safe procedures and put on a glove and give a Band-Aid and wipe up that child and tell the contact. And of course, if it's serious enough, the parent should be contacted. But we want to have that information as well, and just to make sure that everything is covered. So it may seem simple, little, let's fill out an incident report form. And also, if you notice something about the child, would you please do that? Now, there are lots of different reasons for things. There might be, bruising on a child because maybe they fell. My grandson just got bit, believe it or not, by a bug right above his eye, and his eye all swelled up and that kind of thing. Crazy, crazy thing. So we want to report that. Might be fine. Crazy things can happen, but we want to document everything. And if there's anything unusual that you see, we want that to be documented as well. Could be totally normal, can be a total explanation for that, but we want to document that. So as we think about walking into these churches, just in summary for this introductory training session, I want you to think about the big things. From the moment you arrive on the church property, you're on, right? So introduce yourself, smile, talk, put your cell phone away, and engage with whatever is happening in the room that you are assigned. Now, you might be asked if you'd like to be in nursery or preschool or elementary, and if asked, certainly you can tell them your preferences. But a lot of churches need help in specific areas, and so you need to be ready to go anywhere and help in any capacity that they need. Our job is to come alongside these churches so that they can minister to children and have a great experience. And so every step of the way, we want to help you do that. We want to help you understand the curriculum, the materials that you might be using. We want to give you some introduction to each kind of activity and that kind of thing. So you got to kind of be on your game. See what they have. We can't anticipate everything. They should have some instructional sheets. In your training manual, we've given some ideas for extra games. You may find yourself doing childcare for a rehearsal of some sort, and perhaps the rehearsal goes late. Things aren't going well with the big choir program for Christmas, whatever. We want you to have some activities to engage. And so that's why those should always be in your notebook. There's some great fun ideas. And you might go, oh yeah, I forgot about that game. Red light, green light. Oh yeah. But we also, if we're doing ministry, we want to engage with what the children are learning. And so we've given you some ideas for extra games for the Bible verse they're learning or for the main point, and just some general games that you can use so the kids can have fun, but they're learning at the same time. That's our heart. And the mission behind KidMin Care is that we come along churches and really minister. We're not just babysitters. You guys are making an eternal impact on the lives of kids. You're helping a church reach their mission. And you know what? It might be a church plant or it might be a huge church. We don't know, but they need some help and we want to be there. So the service that you provide is more than babysitting or childcare. You're investing in the lives of children and families, and you're helping churches so that they can hear the message of Jesus Christ.